telling Detective Quinn that you were just a family man who had just got home. You were just a family man.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you about DK and who he was friends with in the car, who he's tight with in the car?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that DK was tight with Thug, Young Thug?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that DK and Thug
The nigga snitched back then, but now he don't remember nothing.
Yeah, she made sure. Come on.
True. It's a long time, too. That was shit 11 years ago, bro.
11 years ago?
2013.
They questioned him 11 years ago?
That Rico, man, ain't no statute of limitations on that shit. No statute of limitations on the Rico. So if you're asking the Rico, get it right. What up? This nigga.
Do you remember Detective Quinn telling you that anytime he deals with someone,
I stand the objection.
Your Honor, I'm establishing a foundation.
I'm still going to sustain the objection.
I am orienting the witness.
Come on, bro.
You can rephrase it, though.
Have you at any time ever been told by Detective Quinn or been taken out of a facility by Detective David Quinn?
No, ma'am, I don't remember.
No, ma'am, I don't remember.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn on September 16, 2013 that you had gone as far as the 11th grade in school?
Bro, how the hell this nigga
No, ma'am.
talking?
By that time, by September 11th of 2013, had you gotten to the 11th grade?
I don't remember. No, ma'am.
I fucking went back and caught that, bro. That's
Now,
cap.
at this time today, can you read and write?
Yes, ma'am.
And on September 16, 2013, could you read and write?
I don't remember, ma'am. I can't read and write, though.
That bitch said I can't read or write.
Has Detective David Quinn ever told you, said to you the words, you have the right to remain silent?
I sustain the objection.
I don't understand that. They be telling them you got the right to remain silent.
It's been asked and answered.
So why are you saying anything?
Okay.
Have you ever been told by Detective David Quinn that you have the right to consult with an attorney?
I'm going to rule that one.
No, ma'am.
Have you ever been told by Detective David Quinn that you have a right to have an attorney present with you during any question?
No, ma'am.
Are you saying to the jury you don't recall or that never happened?
I don't remember.
Don't get no big return on me, nigga.
Do you recall whether Detective David Quinn would have told you on
Who they
or
got?
about
Aaron
September
Rodgers?
16, 2013, that if you could not afford an attorney, one would be provided to you at no cost?
I don't remember any conversations that I have had with a Detective Quinn.
Reese Hall, keep moving, boy.
Oh, he was a good running back too.
Do you recall telling Detective
Oh my God.
Pick that shit off.
about being in the back of a police car on
Bro, how the
September the
fuck is-
11th, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall whether Detective Quinn ever said to you that I don't have any charges on you, but I'm investigating a case?
Basis or hearsay? What's your response, madam?
Effect on the listener.
I will
That's
rule the
crazy.
objection.
No, ma'am.
Is your no meaning to suggest or testify that it never happened or that you don't remember?
I don't remember any conversation that I have had with a Detective Quinn, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn telling you that he was investigating a case where an officer shot his weapon?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective
Got
David
him.
Quinn back in 2013 telling you about meeting
You
your
don't know how to
wife?
play safety back there,
No,
man.
ma'am.
Just beat me. Relax. I was there though. I was there. You beat me because I ran a little too forward, bro. When you first bust the route, I thought it was finna stop in the middle of the field. You know what I'm saying?
Stop. Why go stop,
So,
nigga?
like, I thought I didn't think about all the way.
Nigga, that's a post route, nigga. You know what a post route is?
I didn't know what type of route it was at first.
Do you recall telling
played it.
Detective
So you think this nigga gonna way up there to
that you
come
have
stop back?
2 sons and a daughter?
He was finna.
No, ma'am. I don't remember.
He could keep
Did you
running, of
have
course. I ain't saying he
3
was not
children
running
on
Yeah,
September
let-
11,
to the
2013?
end zone.
What? Ooh,
Yes, ma'am.
Were
nigga.
they around the ages of 17, 12, and 10 on September 11th of 2013?
I really thought I was gonna beat him. Like,
I don't remember how old they really was.
Yeah,
Around
nah.
213. This is 13. Let's see. I have to add it up.
Lazar, you smarter than that, bro.
No.
Like we been playing together, bro.
But
Nigga, drop that
I don't
shit.
remember.
Nigga,
Who the fuck
did
is
you
that?
live over on the west side of Atlanta,
Oh, the receiver.
September of 2013?
I don't remember.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that you lived on the west side of Atlanta?
No, ma'am.
You bullet that shit. You gotta lob that shit out there.
Do you
thought you had a
recall
beat.
telling Detective Quinn in September 2013
No, you're supposed to lob it.
that at that time you lived
You
off
bullet
of
that
Cleveland
shit.
Avenue in Atlanta?
I don't remember any conversation that I have had with a Detective Quinn.
Do you recall telling any police detective in September
Right.
2013?
Or any other officer, ma'am.
That's cap. That's fucking cap.
hey. We here.
Do you know, or did you know in 2013, Keith Meadows?
Miss.
You said who?
Keith Meadows.
They gave you that.
What he's got to do with anything?
Sir, I have to ask you the questions, and I have to exact from you the answers. So can you please tell the jury?
2013, no, ma'am.
No, I'm asking you, do you know a Keith Meadows?
I'll take the good
Yes,
field
ma'am.
position.
I know Keith Meadows.
And in 2013, what kind of work did Keith Meadows do?
I don't remember.
Was he a major Keith Meadows back then?
I don't remember.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn about the unfortunate occasion of a cousin of yours having been killed?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn in that conversation about your cousin that Keith Meadows at that time
Let's go.
was a chief now.
No, ma'am.
That boy won't remember nothing.
Do you recall talking with Detective David Quinn or
Wide
anyone
open
from
too.
the Atlanta
Foot, my nigga.
Police
Yeah.
Department
You told me, brother. Off the back foot.
about going to get some codeine lean to drink on September 11, 2013?
Not the lean.
No, ma'am.
I already shot his ass.
Yeah,
Do you
for
recall
sure.
talking to someone from the Atlanta Police Department in September 2013 about how you went up the street on September 11th to holler at a dude?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling a police detective,
Let's
in
go.
particular David Quinn, in September 2013 that the dude hopped out the car and fired
Bro don't
shots?
remember anything.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that everything happened so
Jesus
quick
Christ.
at one time as it relates to that dude firing shots?
I don't recall having any conversations with the Detective Quinn.
Do you recall telling any police detective that information in September 2013?
No, ma'am.
Bro, like, he ain't gonna say he
Do you
remember
recall
this whole
Detective David
time.
Quinn or
He ain't gonna
any
say he
police
remember
detective
anything.
in September 2013
Of course he not.
playing
Why?
calls for you that you
Why?
made to your wife while you were at Rice Street?
No, ma'am.
It's for Thug to get home, bro.
Yeah.
Do you recall
This shit right here, like,
Detective
Thug is
Quinn
like the
speaking
breadwinner
to
out of
you
everybody. Not breadwinner,
regarding
everybody
your
getting
being the
bread,
driver
you know what I'm saying?
of the red
At the
car
beginning,
in
you
State's
get it,
Exhibit 156?
Nah, he like a connection through everything.
No,
You know
ma'am.
what I'm saying? That's really what I'm trying to say.
Oh, give me that shit.
Do you recall
Out of
looking at
bounds!
Give me
a
that shit.
photograph
No
of
out
Young
of bounds.
Thug while you spoke to Detective David
Out of
Quinn or
bounds.
any
No out
other
of
police
bounds, bro.
detective in September
Come on,
of
out of
2013?
Wow,
No,
I
ma'am.
had 2
Do
feet
you
in,
recall
bro.
pointing out Young Thug in that photograph as the person you were referring to?
Right there. I'm down.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling any police detective that Jeffrey Williams, or
Down,
Young
man.
Thug,
Let's go.
DK, and Big Fred were in a car with you at the time?
Ain't
that
no
you-
mystery in the interception, man.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn or any other police department in September 2013 offering you drinks or water or soda or something during a time that you were interviewed?
Hit that hole, man. Hit that hole, man. Let's
Do you
go.
recall asking for
No,
Let's
ma'am.
go.
It's gonna be a score off in this bitch, I'm guessing. Everybody's scoring.
Hey, we ain't fucking off, man. Motherfucking Broncos.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn or anyone else on September 2013 about a guy that you knew named Brian?
No, ma'am.
Hey, that nigga don't know
And
nothing.
did you recall telling Detective
It was 11
Quinn
years
or
ago.
anyone else at the Atlanta Police Department that a Mexican
But a
kid
nigga
came
remember some
with a
shit
person
like
named
that,
Brian
No, of course.
a couple of times during 2013?
Let's go. Pick that shit off.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall
Oh,
Detective
we'll take
David
that.
Quinn or
We'll take
anyone
that
else at
sack.
the Atlanta Police Department asking you at Atlanta Police Headquarters
Who the fuck is
to
that?
tell
The
them
cameraman?
about September 11, 2013 and how you ended up with the car shown in States 150?
He supposed to drop that
No,
shit.
ma'am.
Do you recall talking to Detective David Quinn or anyone else with the Atlanta Police Department about how you ended up all skinned up the way you
Let's
were?
go. You better punt that
No,
shit
ma'am.
out. You better punt that shit out, man.
Fuck, man.
Do you recall telling Detective
punt
David
that
Quinn
shit
that
out.
on September 11, 2013, you pulled up
Nigga
at
don't know how
your
to kick,
spot
man.
No, ma'am.
Nigga
Hey, he don't
Do you
punt because he
recall
don't know how
telling
to.
him
He don't know how to
that your
kick the
spot was
ball.
on
Bro.
Macon Drive?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that he probably saw a black Camry at your spot?
Oh my God.
Taking too long.
Open.
No, ma'am.
Do
Taking
you
too
recall
long.
telling
Man.
him that you couldn't remember the address of the spot because you had two spots?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall
No,
telling
ma'am.
Detective David Quinn or any other detective with APD that one of the spots that's across the street would be 2246 Macon, and that you think the other one is
Yeah, help, man.
2323 Macon?
I had one dude.
I don't recall having any conversations with a detective Quinn.
Do you recall having any knowledge that your wife met any police detective at 2233 Macon Drive in Atlanta
Let's
on
go.
September 11, 2013?
No, ma'am.
The first quarter. Don't doubt me. Don't count me out. Well,
Do you recall
This shit over with, man.
telling anybody with the Atlanta Police Department that you pulled in at 2233 Macon Drive
This shit over
on
with,
September
dude.
the 11th, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone that after
No,
you
ma'am.
pulled in, you parked?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone at APD in September 2013 that 15, 20, or 30 minutes after you parked,
Damn, that's a
Brian
bad kick.
pull up?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone that Brian called you and said he needed to holler at you about something?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone at APD that Brian then pulled up?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall mentioning at that point this guy, Young Thug?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone at APD that you and Brian just shot the shit for a minute?
No,
Man,
ma'am.
what the hell?
Do
See,
you
that running
recall
back good,
telling
but you don't know how to
Detective
use
David
them, you
Quinn or
feel me?
anyone else
what you mean?
that
You don't know
you
how.
asked Brian to come chop it up with? And the guy, Young Thug, rolled up and said, "Hey man, I just seen a dude with about $33,000.
Got that blitz on your ass.
No, ma'am.
Basis.
I'm not refreshing.
Come on, man.
I'll rule the objection, sir.
Come here.
Do you recall Detective David Quinn asking you, who are you talking about? Who's Young Thug?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective David Quinn asking you, wait a minute, who is it that you said told you about seeing a dude with $22,000 or $33,000?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn again, more than once, that's what Young Thug said?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Do
We
you
on that
recall
shit, man.
Detective David Quinn asking you, is he the kid with the dreadlocks that you be always hanging out with at McDonald's?
No, ma'am.
Do
No,
you
ma'am.
recall telling Detective David Quinn on September 16th or
He supposed to
September
drop that
17th,
shit.
2013, that Young Thug, he's a rapper? He's a rapper.
No, ma'am.
No,
Do you
ma'am.
recall Detective David Quinn asking you whether this person you were calling Young Thug was real skinny?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective David Quinn asking you whether this person you call Young Thug wore his pants like, in his words, white boys and shit?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn, yep, that's him, that's him?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that Young Thug was screaming that he saw a guy with some money or whatever?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn so that you, Big Fred, and you all with Young Thug and DK go in Brian's car to see about that situation?
No, ma'am.
Come here. No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn or anyone about the guy with the D and the K in his face?
No, ma'am.
And I hit stick them. How the fuck he caught them?
Do
You going for that?
telling Detective David Quinn that the guy with the D and the K in his face was one of the people that went to check on the guy with all the money?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that after they went and
Tight
checked
end.
on
Hell
the
no,
money, they found
that's
out
some
there was
bullshit.
something going
Man, see
on
it.
with that situation?
I don't care about the goal, man.
No, ma'am.
That's some bullshit right
Recall
there.
telling Detective David Quinn that after you all determined that nothing was going on with that situation, you, DK, or the person with the D and the K on his face, Big Fred and Young Thug were all going in on some lean.
No, ma'am.
Do you know what lean is?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
You don't know what lean is?
No, ma'am.
I stand in objection.
Have you ever referred to anything as lean?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever taken or drank lean?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that
Nothing, nigga. You gets nothing,
No,
nigga.
ma'am.
Do you recall
You
telling
gets
Detective David
nothing,
Quinn that you got it
nigga.
from your buddy up there in Summerdale?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn or anyone else that Big Fred had just gotten home from prison?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling him that you had $50, but that Big Fred had nothing?
That was my fault right
No,
there. That
ma'am.
was bullshit.
Recall saying that he don't know nothing about nothing. He just coming home from the chain gang to Detective Quinn.
No, ma'am.
Oh, everybody gets some. Everybody eat.
Recall
Everybody eat.
telling
Everybody
Detective Quinn
fucking eat. Oh, get you some more. Type shit.
that Thug and DK got in the back of the car you were in.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that you were
Miss.
driving the car that is
That was
depicted in
fucking luck,
6156
bro.
chart?
No, ma'am. I don't recall any conversation that I've had with a detective.
Why she all in front of the camera
Do you
though?
recall telling Detective Quinn or anyone else, any detective?
No, ma'am. Any detectives.
Yep, I gotta finish the
I don't
question.
remember any
Just so that
detective
the
name.
record
Okay,
reflects.
yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
That you all gave DK money to go get some lean.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling
that
Detective
time, though.
Quinn or anyone else that DK went around the corner and started firing some shots or something?
Yeah.
Some shots just go off.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn or anyone else that when he got back, you were looking at DK like, what the hell's going on?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone at APD that you asked DK, what the fuck you shooting for? What are you shooting at?
No, ma'am.
Oh,
Reese!
Do you
What the
recall
fuck is
telling
he diving
anyone
for?
at
He's not catching
APD
it.
that DK got in the car and said,
Why
go,
you
go,
diving?
go?
No, ma'am.
Holy shit.
Do you
Oh my
recall
gosh, that
seeing
would've been
a
hard,
Taurus
bro.
in
He dived the
Summerdale
pig?
Apartments on September 11th, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that the Taurus pulled up? What
wow.
it did when you pulled out,
Wow.
Sometimes it don't be the pass, it just be the timing, you know what I'm saying?
That's fucking
you
crazy.
tried to
I'm
go
jamming you
around
too
the car.
much.
I don't
Yeah,
recall.
I'm still. He's
Do
still
you recall
going,
telling
so you gotta run
Detective
back
David
that shit,
Quinn
nigga.
at first that it was a
You
black
gotta
car,
be there.
but then corrected
I
it
definitely
and
was supposed to
said,
switch on him and get that shit,
I don't
bro.
recall.
Gotta be there.
do you recall Detective Quinn asking you if the Taurus that you saw was like the one Detective Quinn picked you up?
Oh my gosh.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling
First
Detective
down, let's
David
go.
Quinn,
Let's
that
go.
as the
I thought I was doing a
Taurus pulled up,
screen, but I ain't gonna
the
cap.
person in the
He ain't
Taurus
even
was
do the
trying to see
screen.
what was going on, and you were trying to see what was going on?
No,
That's
ma'am.
wild.
Right there, bro. I was like, pop his ass.
Do you recall
bro.
telling Detective
What's the
David
liable?
Quinn
Give me one.
that you had backed the car depicted in States 156 Charlie into a parking space?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall describing for Detective Quinn or
Bro,
anyone else how the Taurus approached?
what the
as you were
hell?
backing
You wide
the car?
open.
You gotta read the indicator.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that the Taurus was about 2 car lengths up from you at the time that you saw it?
Bro, what do you mean, bro?
No, ma'am.
It's the way
Do you
said,
recall
the way
telling
pass is,
Detective
the way you move,
Quinn
like,
that
not everything
as you
is
pulled
accurate.
out,
Oh.
cops were right there with the gun?
Oh.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall
Big lineman block.
telling Detective Quinn or anyone else that as you go around, you see the cop car hit you?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Quinn or anyone else that the car bumped the tail of the car you were in?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that as you went out, the cops shot?
No, ma'am.
Do you
Slowly
recall
but
telling
surely,
Detective
man.
Quinn
Slowly but surely,
that
y'all.
after the cop fired a shot, you went around, boom, and hit the gate?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall
No,
telling
ma'am.
Detective David Quinn or anyone else that you went straight across, jumped on the wall, boom, hit the other wall, boom, run into the laundromat?
No, ma'am.
Going into the ground.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you if you saw
Nah,
the
hell
police
no.
car down there at the bottom of the wall at the laundromat?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you didn't see a police car?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you whether you were driving the car that almost landed on the police car?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall saying in response to such a question, yes, sir?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling
I ain't
Detective
trying to
Quinn or
feel
anyone
pressured
else,
right now. That's
I
all.
lied to the detectives when they first came?
Oh my God.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you lied to the detectives when they first came to talk to you, and you told them that Big Fred was driving
Big Red is
when
crazy.
actually you were the driver?
I don't recall any conversation I had with Detective Quinn.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that Big Fred was in fact the passenger,
In the house.
that DK was behind you, and Young Thug was behind Big Fred?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you whether Big
Oh, he
Fred
dropped
was
it.
like 6'8",
I was about to say.
354
I take my 3.
pounds?
You feel me?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall
I
Detective
take my
Quinn asking you if
three,
Big
yeah.
Fred was sitting in the back seat?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling him, no, he's in the front seat with me?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you questions to make sure he got who was situated where in the car correct?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn one thing earlier in the interview or in a conversation with him, and then another later on?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn, yeah, I told a few bullshit lies, but I'm not going to keep on shitting with you?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn, I'm just going to keep it all the way live, man?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn everything just happened so fast that none of this was even supposed to occur?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that your man had just come home from prison?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you about the guy with the money and whether Thug came to you with what sounded to him like a lick?
No, ma'am.
What do
Me
you
and
understand
that safety right there.
a lick to be if we're talking about coming to you?
Yeah.
I was going to hurt it.
I don't recall, ma'am.
Have you heard the term lick used for robbery?
No, ma'am.
No,
Do
ma'am.
you recall telling Detective Quinn the lick was dead, I guess?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that on September 11, 2013, you had $345 of your own?
No, ma'am.
Do you know whether $345 was taken from you and put into Atlanta Police Department property?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you had your own money?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Quinn that you had that money in cash in your pocket?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Quinn that that money had nothing to do with what was going on up in Summerdale?
No, ma'am.
Miss, but before you pause another question, can I get you or an defense representative come on up here, please? All right, thanks.
Deep back there, like, Honestly, if it wasn't, we didn't get to the fucking goalpost. We would have took it back.
I bet the judge like, man, this guy's gonna keep saying no, ma'am, the whole time.
Yeah, but that's court, man. That's what you sign up for. You have rights at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real.
Oh my gosh.
Pick that shit
Why
off.
did he do that though, bro? Give me that. Give me that, man. That's supposed to be mine.
Ante Harper announced her debut album, Pretty Bitch Music, a while ago, and she's now admitted that the real reason it's taking so long, she told Allure magazine, I just feel like nobody was caring about my music. To me, music is sacred. It's coming from your spirit. You can't.
He's not lying though.
Ante Harper announced her debut album, Pretty Bitch Music, a while ago, and she's now admitted that the real reason it's taking so long, she told Allure magazine, I just feel like nobody was caring about my music. To me, music is sacred. It's coming from your spirit. You can't just go finish an album in a week. That's why it's taking me so long. That's why I haven't dropped an album yet. The record was intended to drop in 2021. However, she announced that she was delaying it to reconstruct some songs. The best friend hitmaker went on to admit she felt like every move was scrutinized and she had given up on herself and felt like quitting. She shared, I don't mean to dampen the mood, but this is realistically how my careers went. We were constantly criticized for every drop. I just felt very insecure. I'm a confident woman, but I was an insecure artist. There's been a lot of times that these past couple of years where I've given up on myself, whether you knew about that or not.
I would have made it though.
Myself giving up, and I don't want to do that no more. I'll be honest with you. Sweetie, I like the fact that you're very realistic, and this actually makes me want to root for you. I've seen hints and traces of this, and I don't know why I thought you were going to come off pompous, arrogant, and combative, especially with people either criticizing your music or criticizing your musical success or lack thereof. But I remember the first thing that told me maybe you're a really humble person was Saweetie, DJ Vlad, where essentially, Vlad had said, yo, if Saweetie did a Vlad TV interview, she would have easily done 10 times her first week sales, which was 2,000 copies. We actually reached out through one of our people and we're told she won't do Vlad, her loss. Saweetie actually came back and said, actually, I've been a big fan and I've screen recorded my favorite episodes. Here's one of them, dates on the top. So if anyone reached out, it wasn't me or my team, DJ Vlad, happy Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be honest with you. That was very shocking that she replied like that to me. She didn't reply to me, but she replied to Vlad, but her reply like that. And to me, it was shocking. And it was shocking because most artists, as I said, the problem we're seeing with Meek Mill, except we're going to have to slay the dragon with Meek Mill. We can't allow this egotistical punk, this pompous asshole, this person who thinks that everybody, needs to be from the trenches and have 50 bodies. And like this guy just basically is saying that no one is on his level just because he's a rapper. The business of the music industry goes where the rapper is not even the third, fifth, sixth highest paid in this entire industry. The rapper is the pawn. So when I see rappers treat everybody beneath them, it's that they lack reality of what this business is. Your label's making more than you. You have the people who are in your JV making more than you. People who have given you publishing deals making more than you. A lot of times, sometimes a manager who has multiple clients make more than you. Sometimes the producer who owns all their IP in terms of publishing makes more than you. And not because you're the face who gets all the Instagram comments means you should shit on everybody. And when I seen Saweetie and her humbleness, even towards, she was getting hammered for selling 2,000 copies. Her response to Vlad said, yo, hey, I'm not just some arrogant person who think I'm deserving of this. I'm trying. And you have to respect someone who is trying, okay? Now, Vlad later then said, oh, okay, you know what it is? One of my coworkers or employees at the time, Shirley Drew, got that answer that you didn't want to fuck with us from a... It was from a publicist, and that publicist claimed that it was, Sweetie's decision, even though it was not. Okay. Later into it, Shirley Drew and Vlad went back and forth. And then Vlad eventually apologized to Sweetie by saying, yo, hey, I apologize for my comment about your mixtape sales. The way you responded, and this is true, showed class and professionalism. I'm honored that you're a fan of Vlad TV, being from the Bay. And I love when Bay artists win and constantly go out of my way to interview them. Consistently, actually. I'm going to be honest with you. This has given me, and please, Sweetie, if you see this, receive this in the best and humblest way. Half of these women,
Turner,
you're
y'all.
going to have your bravado as a female who's attractive, and you might have certain messages and themes in your song that you talk your shit about. But usually those people, like, for example, Young Miami, and I'm not trying to juxtapose you to her or make you feel like you have to have a thought about her, but they have this over-exaggerated ego from their social
right in
media
front of
reach,
that,
from the movement of the city girls that's either from yesteryear.
I know. I don't know why you got them sorry
because of,
motherfuckers thinking I'm
some
a fucking
shit that
square.
it's just not musical. What you're showing with your humbleness.
That's because I'm good.
Allows
bro. I
people
could
to
do that
root
because
for
I'm
you.
good,
And
bro.
I'm telling you, as a woman, even though
I'm
you
too
talk your
good,
shit, you
bro.
want to be the underdog. Most rappers, you know why they blow up? It's because they're the underdog. So, not saying don't diminish your ego and like dull your shine if you feel you have one, but when you're delusional, right? When an artist comes out and you know by every metric that they're not succeeding or their music isn't doing well, but they're talking shit like it does, it makes you want to say, okay, I want you to be humbled. So when you see someone who's very aware of what's going on, and that's what you come across to me today as, I want you to win. Now granted, I could give you a lot of advice on you winning. I do think you gotta sharpen that pen. There's some critique about you using other people's songs and remixing it. And people want to see you come up with an original hit. These are things you could work on.
I got egos,
These
man.
are things that if you really do care about music that much, you eventually will find one. But I think the first thing is first, which I think you've done, is that you've expressed yourself. And again, remember, part of artistry is being vulnerable, is allowing, when you're an R&B singer and you're writing about heartbreak, that song will never be popping unless you're vulnerable enough to express how you felt, what you thought, maybe in a personal situation that you experienced said thing. So again, Sweetie, I just want to give you some, respect, and I want to say I'm rooting for you. And a lot of artists would have taken many critique personally and lashed out. I think you're doing the right thing. So I'm actually rooting for you now. And again, we don't necessarily have to meet or have an interview or nothing of the sort, but I
go to random down there.
Fucking rooting for you. Okay.
The weather, random.
Okay. Cool. Let's see what else is going on. There is a bunch of stuff going on.
Okay, I have it on good authority. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and do this. Since it's close to lunch, let's take your comfort break. We'll go ahead and just have lunch. And let's just plan on coming back for 1 o'clock. And then the plan for the afternoon is we'll take about another hour for the testimony, and that'll be today. We'll be complete. Okay? All right, so we'll see you back for 1 o'clock. Mr. Bean, you'll be excused until 1. Okay, make sure you come back a little bit before 1 because we'll need you as well. And don't discuss testimony with anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can leave, sir. All right, all rise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you may be excused for lunch. We'll see you back at 1 o'clock, okay? All right, we're in recess. All right, thank you.
Marquee. Let's go.
The victim that got allegedly shot in the face, well, she claims by him, I think it was proven in court, or it was at least accepted in court that it was Shine. But back in 1999, that victim is speaking out as well. She said this.
Hey, how you doing? So, here today about this latest lawsuit with the P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Sean Puffy Combs, whatever you want to call him, lawsuit that has come out involving the producer Lil Rod. So basically his last two lawsuits, or last two major lawsuits, the one with Cassie, she made mention that Puffy made her carry his guns into nightclubs and wherever they went. And he threatened her to make her feel like she had to do so. And while there were lots of things of importance, that stood out to me. And I'm going to tell you why. In this lawsuit with the producer Lil Rod, they were both SA'd by him and threatened and physically harmed. But in this lawsuit, he appears to be a very young producer to me. But he said something very specific. As a means of threatening him, Puffy said, that's why I shot up the club in New York back in 1999 and let Shine take the fall for it. Let me tell you why that's of utmost importance to me.
True.
Because I am the woman who he shot in the face in that 1999, December 27th, 1999, Club New York shooting. I have told everyone ad nauseum since then, even the surgeon who did the surgery to take the bullet. I got shot in my face with a 9mm hollow point bullet.
9mm.
Called a cop killer. I literally have told everyone and never changed what I said. I watched him. I got pow-powed in the face. I watched him fire the gun. I've said it all this time. Even the surgeon who did my surgery to take out part of the bullet fragments that was aspirating into my lungs and try to remove as many bullet fragments as possible testified in the criminal trial that while they were putting me under, I was screaming, Puffy, pew pew me in the face.
That was your man.
He testified in the criminal trial. It is in the record. They all knew he did it. Everybody knew he did it. But he paid off the club bouncer named Reese and all these other people and the club owners with their video to hide the video. That's his MO. I told everybody that. This man almost took my life, has traumatized my life, has caused undue harm, irreparable damage to my life, lied his behind off. I've had all these youngins on the internet harassing me, swearing that I'm making it up that he did it. And look what he did to Lil Rod. He threatened him. Oh, you don't think I bust my gun? I shot up the club in Club New York and let Shine take the fall for it. I shot them people. Well. It only took 24 whole years for it to come out. You see this tattoo? This commemorates me getting shot. It took 24 years for him to come out and say it. I've been saying it all along, but y'all pick and choose who y'all want to believe. Oh, baby.
Oh, get it, big boy.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Fuck.
Not only did he pew me in the face, he also set off a course of harassment against me for the past 24 years.
Hey,
when I tell you the things I went through, there was a time in 2017 and 2018 where I got 7 flats on my BMW. 7, the same tire, in a 2-year span. 7 on the same tire, and they were all new. Every time it happened, I had to get a new tire. I have the pictures to prove it. Harassing me. You want to know why? Because prior to Cassie, I was the only person to be victimized by him and then to successfully sue him and get paid. And he had to pay me out of his pocket. He has never gotten over that. Oh, baby. You see this RICO charge that's about to come? This conspiring and pew-pewing up the club and ruining or attempting to ruin my life? As God is my witness, I will not stop until you suffer every single iota of punishment until I have every second of recompense that you took from me. For every tear that I had to cry, or my children had to cry, I am going to get $1 million back from you. I will not stop until you pay the price for what you did to my life. And for all you people out there on the internet and in cyberspace and in the far reaches of my life or the perimeters or wherever who always like, oh, she just saying that to get some. Hell, what you got to say now? What you got to say now? I had some youngins on the internet that ain't even old enough, that weren't even alive when it happened, arguing me down, cussing me out, calling me everything but a child of God. Go check Instagram. It's there. Harassing my life.
Nigga planet.
Harassing me. Oh, you lying. He ain't do that to you. You just want clout. You just chasing clout. What is that to chase clout about? How is that clout chase worthy? It doesn't even make sense. Well, I guess it will make sense in this new generation. But you better believe I will have my say. I will have my say. Hashtag having my say. Hashtag the dopest nerd ever. Hashtag Ebb Talks. Y'all ain't seen or heard nothing yet.
Holy.
Ooh.
Wow.
You move the tight end to the other side. Now it's wide open. Now it's just on the blockers.
It's hard listening to her. She's rightfully filled with a lot of pain and a lot of history. You know, I think the incident with her happened in 1999. 25 years.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless if, you know, he was actually innocent that night, regardless if whatever happened, she is enraged. And I could understand why. You know, a lot of these things that are happening with Diddy, like, I'm kind of sitting back and I'm like, Charles White said something, and kind of crazy, I'm going to quote Charles White, but he said, he's like, well, if karma existed, so where's the karma for white people with slavery? It's like, where's the karma for these gangsters who's shooting up communities? So why don't the people who have done really bad things
I shouldn't have threw that
experience
shit.
karma on a mass?
I shouldn't have threw it. That nigga
extreme
fell. I should have kept running that bitch.
And then you get to someone like Diddy.
Get that to me. I was supposed to be like,
Now, it's very important that I don't try to convict him of or say he did anything that maybe he didn't do. But every time you hear some of these people, it feels like they all have been waiting for him to get some punishment. And it still doesn't look like he's going to get any, he's not going to get any criminal charges.
What?
But even if they watch his career go down in flames, and they watch like what he's built all this time in a persona and an image, and they watch like the deals and things that would help him gain a lot of monetary success kind of go down in flames, they're like, good.
You got to use R1, man.
And that's what I get from her. Man, she hates that nigga, man.
Got lucky, boy.
She hates that nigga, man.
Nah, as long as it's close
And,
enough to
even if, you've heard many things being reported on it, and of course there's always rumors, but if you're someone who's logical and factual and you always want proof, you want things to be adjudicated, you want things to be proven in the court of law, you get left with this just question that's going to sit on your spirit. Are they all jealous of Diddy